Greetings everyone, hello and welcome back once again to Transport Fever 2 on very hard settings. How very good of you to join for the second episode, and we're looking at our horses and poop created our empire. A lot of horse poop, of course, and this is about to change. Because finally, after, well, 40 years of being in the business now, we finally can replace all our horses with the very first diesel engine car. And this one not only has a higher top speed, but it is also way more powerful. It cannot transport more, but it can be faster, right? And in this case here, I'm gonna of course replace this right away. This should make things way more efficient for one of my high transport routes, this one here. And gone is the poop. Hello to diesel engines. Those poor souls still don't have weather protection, but I don't care. I care about my money. And in this case, this should be faster now because they can accelerate to higher speeds and that faster. Of course, what we should check out right away, of course, it's not a problem right now, but the top speed on a small country road is 40 kilometers an hour right now. So their 25 are still totally within the means of what's possible here, right? And they're transporting this now back and forth. Quite a lot of traffic here. I've been thinking about getting a train route going here, right? Because the volume for this is just super high, but I think cars are still gonna be the better choice here, especially since on the other way around it's empty and cars are just lower maintenance for that, right? To make this profitable. What's definitely profitable at this point is my ship route that we have. It's completely full. It's so full that there is a lot of construction material waiting right now to be delivered. So we need to get this one going as well. And lo and behold, we do have a new ship, the Donara Castle. This one here has a capacity of 100 now. It can transport everything. And from the Rigi, it is a nice upgrade in capacity, however not in speed, unfortunately, just in power, but not in higher top speeds right now. Loading speed though is also greatly improved, so for the amount of stuff, you know, it takes less time. The Donara was the first ship to offer a regular passenger cargo service. Let's replace this one for the 500. Oh, look at this, it's a big ship, so we need to now remodel our harbor. And that is something that we can do right over here, because now what we're gonna need is a large dock. This is the thing that where only the big ships can then dock. And how should we do this for now? This whole harbor area is still getting remodeled, right? Once we can build the large dock itself. So for now, I think we're just gonna add it here. And then we're gonna make a landing for a large ship. And this is unfortunately outside of navigable rivers. That's a pity. We need to take this one the other way around. This actually refunds me a bit of the money, so we should be careful how we approach this, right? I'm gonna make it like so. And then we're gonna add... Holy cow, you serious? It needs to be behind it now? Yeah, and there it is, of course. I just replaced the small one now with the big one, and that, of course, is much easier and also looks more elegant. We need to do the same thing on the other side. Now, this is though the crappy thing about this. I cannot keep the cargo, right? So there's 300 construction materials waiting. That means there's gonna be 300 again. There's constantly more coming in. But unfortunately, I will need to delete it first before I can build the other one on top of that. This is just something that up to this day, I think there's no solution for it. So this is one of those things where I hope that Transport Fever 3 gets the job done right, that you can just upgrade this one without having to destroy anything. But there you go. Now we have a large cargo bay on both sides. There's the construction material coming in already. And then we're just going to replace now our ship with the big one, the Donara Castle, for 600,000. And there it is, in all its glory. It's a beauty, really it is. What a beautiful sight to behold. And yeah, with that we also have now a steamship, a proper one, a big one, out here in the ocean. You can even see, look at that, you can even see the turbine down there. Fantastic. I love how detailed these vehicles are. Now, we need to wait a bit, because I think we can add a second one here to this route pretty soon. But for now, let's keep it at one. Now, we're looking at the train route again that I did in the last episode at the end of it. And I remodeled this one. I moved the train station all the way down here. This leads to way higher profit. The reason for that is that this is just too much of an increase, right? So there's just too much of an ascent for the train to manage this. So it just took us around with 5 kilometers an hour all the way to the end, which gets me in the deep red. Instead, what we've done now is we shortened the train, right, all the way down here. So it still has a bit of an ascent here, but it's manageable. And then we have now the truck route that originally was just getting the oil from here to here is now getting the oil from here and the train up here, right? This leads to a much more stable route for both of them. Line 1 is also really profitable with that. It gets the oil up and it gets the refined oil down, and the refined oil is then being transported with the train. Whoosh! That was also a lot of experimenting to make this really work. So we can get rid now of the original tracks here. This is just too steep, right? It's just not gonna work out with the trains that we have for a very long time. Electrification later on could make this easier, but we're also getting better trucks and stuff like that. So I think we can live with that, with this route here now, right? Next in line, what I still need is I also would like to modernize this route here now with my diesel engines. The reason for that is that these cars here still have an ascent, and the more powerful diesel engines lead to a higher top speed all the way up. The horses were only able with 18 kilometers an hour, and the diesel ones are now able with 25 all the way up, right? So this is also very important here to make this more efficient. Now we're looking at new opportunities here, and it's really hard actually, because those routes need to be profitable and they absolutely need to be at full capacity. One of those ones is that the tools factory here is presenting an opportunity for us. Now we haven't touched tools yet, and the reason for that is that tools you cannot take both ways with a train, like the fuel for example. So you need to look at the lower level, and that is the wood and the planks. Now we do have a tools factory, we do have the planks factory here, the sawmill, and we do have the garden forest. So theoretically this could look nice, but with a train this wouldn't work, right? The distances are too short and you need bridges, which are expensive in maintenance. But we have a sawmill over here that also has the planks close by. So what I would like to do here is I would like to connect this sawmill here now with the tools factory and with that forest lumberjack hut that we have over here. So let's just see how we if we can make this work. So that we need a nice big road, and let's just make this one also a bit nicer looking, right? So it shouldn't all look like crap all the time. So I'm gonna make a road here that goes around that lumberjack hut and then goes all the way down towards this one, and we try to make the connection here, right? So this way it works. And you know what, just for the sake of it, and because we can afford it at the moment, let's also make a connection here, finished with that main road system that we have here from the game. Now let's check out if this is actually working for me. Unfortunately, we cannot connect it, but that shouldn't be a problem, right? Because we want to have the train going at full capacity all the time and not the trucks. So I don't care about that. I can still make me a nice big train station here that we're gonna have. And then I'm gonna have the same thing over here with the planks factory. And let's just see that they're both on the same side here, because I really do not want to have to cross the street there. Right, so with that we're getting up there. Now I can just make my tracks as always. Very good, just along this beautiful lake over here. Or is it an ocean? It's so vast, I have no idea. And then we just need the truck supporter line. So don't forget, here what we have is we need to have 2 times the wood for 1 plank. That means I will need to have another truck line going here, right? So that's something to absolutely consider. Having a truck depot here with its drop-off depot somewhere here. It's just a drop-off because it's just a supporting line. It doesn't do anything else. All right, that's number 1. Then we get the train, and then we still need to have another truck depot here somewhere, connecting that train station with my tools factory. And this is also going to be not a drop-off, because I'm expecting a very high volume in this truck station here, as there's going to be lots of planks from the train being delivered over here. So I want to make sure that we have the space for it. And then I'm going to make a separate truck depot though for the tools that are coming out of this here. And this one will then deliver it to an unload station. We need to have, as always, a customer right away. And I want to start growing birchwood over here. And let's just see where we have the tools district. not along a main road, so somewhere here where we can also make a nice loop around and leave the city again, right? So don't forget, these cities are growing massively once we provide goods. So we want to start having this as centrally as possible so that all the expansions are coming in. And look at that, there's then Wigan over here that also wants tools. So Wigan already gets the fuel. So tools will be another addition to this city here. Gonna need a road for it though. But let's start with one customer for now. And yeah, then I just need my depots again. For this route, we can already take the latest locomotive that we have, the PLM 220. Just came out, really. And in this case here, the very futuristic Big C is a pioneer of aerodynamic locomotives. It's way faster than before, right? And also way more powerful, like twice as much that it can actually go for. And we're gonna use the flat car with side stakes on this. This is wood and planks. Gotta make sure that it can take both of that. And as we can see, we can make this one so full. Let's just check it out. 72 capacity. We're not even at mediocre, right? 88 capacity, 92. So let's get rid of one more and make it at 88. This is 4 million already. So once again, this is a pretty big investment that we have. Carded and planks train it is. Want to start with that right away so that the logs are coming up. There it is. The planks will be on the other way back again. We already made sure that we have the trucks running this route. And for this route, we're also going to say take both platforms. This is going to be high volume truck line. And yeah, we could say wait for maximum load here at the plank departure, right? So at Cardiff North, and let's say full load so that they're not going back and forth. Now, then we have the Cardiff Tools Birchwood selling route. So this creates the customer. Very important. And I'm just going to have 2 trucks here on this one to create that demand once again, and then we just ramp it up, right, once more stuff comes up. We still have the Cardiff Tools wood up here, so this one also will need a few trucks, and once again not too much yet because I want to have the main demand for logs coming with the train and not with the trucks. This should also lead now here to wood coming up. It's important though that we have 2 lines supporting it because, as I said, you know, the ratio is 2 to 1, so the train will not be able to get back full. Wood is coming in quickly, and there's my new locomotive in all its glory. It's really a beauty. I love these steam locomotives. And yeah, it's a pretty long train. And we are only at good condition so far. We can make this way longer than this one right now. And once again, with this route, we're going to operate at a loss for quite some time. Like that is the case with every new route that we create. So we always need to make sure we have enough money as well to buy the loss, more or less, before this whole thing becomes profitable. There's the first hole with logs. Empty back at the moment because, yeah, the planks still need to be produced. Next way around is already full for at least the logs. By the way, I just love the sound when you click on a lumberjack hut. Beautiful. Other way around again, this time halfway full with the planks, as expected. And with all the logs coming in now, also our sawmill here is starting to work. And we want to make sure that we can actually then also level this one up. Back at our original fuel transportation, we should also now start modernizing those 2 trains that we have here. So that means they're getting a completely new locomotive, both of them, which is going to be very expensive, just this. And then we're of course going to add these tank cars here. All the way to, let's just see, 70 capacities right now, 65 they can take right now, so this is still not enough. We want to push this one further, and this is probably going to take up the rest of my money here. So 110 capacity that we have now with that, and 120 we cannot do, but the 110 is already almost most of, yeah, it's actually almost twice as much, right? Both ways, and faster as well with the better locomotive. Gotta make sure, of course, that we have everything supplying this, right? So the oil is in right now, but it's probably not going to be enough forever. So that's where this truck route is still coming in handy for us. And what I can see is we still don't have a traffic jam. So that means we can still add more trucks to this route, despite this one here looking pretty full already, right? but it's not, because there's no truck waiting here. There always needs to be at least one truck waiting here, and only then have we fully utilized this route. So let's actually add another 3 here, leading to 41 vehicles now on this tiny road. The additional income of oil now leads to this one here to have a higher production and shipment rate, so it should probably lead to another upgrade here for this fuel factory. However, I can also see that we will need more oil coming in somehow, right? Because this one here is already working at its capacity. So that's where this one, Voltram oil well, is now coming in. And yeah, we're just going to make another basic truck delivery here for the oil. Having another route now attached to this one here actually gets the shipment and the production up to the threshold. So this one is finally leveling up. That will lead to this refinery here, or this oil well here, actually producing more because we have then a bigger customer, right? So it all goes down the supply chain. And in that case here, this will be a nice touch again to get another area in. And of course, what I can see is that those 2 trains here are depleting that one, right? So this will not gonna last forever now. So we definitely will need to have an upgrade of that oil refinery. The upgrade of the trains led to twice as much profit now, and that's 1.6 million that this route here makes. By the way, that carbon planks train that we have, just this single one here, is already at 1 million in profit. That's because it's almost always full and half empty on the other way around. It's still that profitable. These 2 trains here are working very profitable, but only as long as they're full, right? So this is why we need to have that oil coming in. But this is also why trains are so great in this game. Looking at our original plan here now, I would like to make another route a bit more profitable, and that is the Haywood Fuel 4 train route that we have all the way up here to Camborne. The reason for that is now, of course, is that the street here is just absolutely crazy, stupid, inefficient. So now we're looking at that original bridge layout that we had. And over here, we can and should now make that bridge happening. I'm not going to use this road though, because that's too close to the city. We're going to use a completely independent one. So it's this road here, right? And this road here goes now up. And it should be not interfering though with my grain trade route here, because that is just, that would lead to a lot of congestion. Now let's have a look at this. This bridge would cost me 414,000. We still don't have many more or other layouts available here. And it just goes up then here into that road and then towards Camborne. This should work out nicely. And oh, we got a new ship available as well. And the moment we connect it, the game automatically sets this one as the standard route now, as it should be. So we'll just see if that is a bit more profitable. Yeah. For now, we are making a bit of a loss here with this route. Actually not. Now it's 44,000 in profit. It fluctuates a bit, but it was always around the 0 mark, right? Negative and a bit positive. Now this should change a bit. The reason why we should make this more efficient is that we want to upgrade the fuel refinery over there. Otherwise, we're not producing enough fuel and we're not consuming enough oil. And in that case here, we need to transport more. That means we need to transport more to our customers. Bromley is another one, and Bromley was the city over here, right? So there we also have something to work on. First of all, we have a lot of fuel waiting here. By the way, it's 1900 now. And let's just double this one. Yeah, let's double this one and also change the vehicles to diesel engines. All right, that's pretty important. To get more over. The other thing that we can do here is, yeah, getting another ship over, right? So we have one going right now that is at full capacity. So I could add a second ship to this route here now to transport twice as much. It's not quite there for the fuel though. Another thing I would like to do now is we have 2 trains here running, but that is no longer absolutely required. First of all, we don't really have the production. Even if the fuel refinery levels up, this will still not be enough. And look at that, we got a new oil cart available. And with that, we could use the same locomotive that we're running right now up to 324 capacity. That's more than twice as much. That's almost 3 times the amount that those 2 trains can take at the moment, right? That is just crazy. So I'm gonna actually sell one of them now. It's this one here. There it goes. We get a lot of money back from this, and we're basically now replacing this train with the same one. I'm also using the same locomotive. We have a new one, but that new one is too powerful for this route, right? Because the smaller one still works out at only a fraction of the maintenance car. And there's now the new tank car coming out in 1900, and this one can take twice as much per car than the original one. So we can now really ramp this up. So this was the old capacity, right? And now we're just gonna add this one all the way to, let's say 200 for now. 200 is also really quite a bit already, right? But that's gonna be worth it. So let's just have a look at this new baby. It's actually clipping in. It's loading now, and one train will be enough. So we are also saving one entire locomotive with that, which makes this whole thing a bit more efficient for us. And these are some beautiful new modern looking fuel cars. Let's also work a bit on this very cute looking island over here for another profitable ship route that I'm planning right now. We got the food delivery already working towards Orkney, and that's okay, right? So this is working fine. We could probably put it up there a bit with the vehicle count. So let's just get me a few more vehicles out there so that we can get more grain in, right? There you go. This is just barely now at the upgrade, but what's missing is another customer, right? So there's no customer, and Orkney alone is not enough for this to level up. So we need a second customer, and we got one down here, all the way down here in Carterton. Carterton needs food, and it needs construction materials. We can combine this because North Allerton also wants construction materials. So having a ship transporting the food to Carterton and the construction material to North Allerton on its way back could lead to a very profitable ship route, and we can actually grow 2 cities there in addition. At the beginning of everything lies a new truck route, and that's this one. And for this we are gonna need another road, a very expensive road that is, because this is once again an area with lots of hills. It's a beautiful area, and I certainly don't want to destroy it too much. So let's just make sure that we have this road here going around that forest, not in it, you know, like the modern approach would be this. I'm not doing this. We keep the forest intact, and I'm just gonna make a nice curvature around that. There's another forest now coming up, but once again we can be on the side. Only trucks make sense here, right? No train, unfortunately. We just don't have the way back for this one to work. Gonna be a nice scenic route though, anyway. And then we just make the connection here. There you go. To that quarry that we have. And now we just work on another depot, and this one's gonna be somewhere over here. There you go. Going then to my construction material, and look at that. We could actually make it so that once again we have a nice connection here for both of them. But of course this doesn't make a lot of sense, so I'm gonna actually get this one as far away as possible, and then we're gonna create a new one for the construction materials, and this will have then a drop off for Carterton, because we want to make 2 customers here again to grow the factory. And then we're gonna have a second drop off that's gonna be here then in the port of Carterton. And there are the trucks coming out, getting everything rolling, and we should be seeing some stone coming up now. Very good. And as expected, there's going to be lots of stone. So first of all, we have both platforms again for both of this. And second of all, we're just going to need a lot of vehicles, right? So there's 7, and then just going to flat out copy this for 14. And then I'm going to wait a bit to have them spread out. Actually, we don't really need to do this because they're spreading out themselves. So let's just take 14 vehicles and copy them to 28. Off you go, busy bees. Bring me in the money. Now, this is not going to be a very profitable route, right? It's just a stone route. It's going to be empty half the time. But that's why we're using trucks for this. More profitable will be then the ship route once again. That's something we can prepare already. For this, I'm going to need a bunch of docks now. The first one is the cargo harbor here. I'm going to make sure that we are having this one over here. It still needs to have a connection. Just barely though, with the food processing. So let's hope that this works, because this would be the most elegant solution. Nah, it doesn't work. Really? I mean, that to me it looks very close, but unfortunately it's not. Now this works. It's, as I said though, not the most elegant solution to that, but it's still what I'm gonna do, because we want to maximize the profit for this ship trade here. And you know what, let's actually just go ahead and make the dock into a bigger one right away, because we're gonna need it anyway, and I'm not gonna waste all of my cargo again. Still, this could look a bit better, right? There you go. Looks a bit cleaner now than before, and everything is still working. So that's the food. The food will be then transported over to Carden, and Carden will also get its own port. Now Carden has the food district here, so we can make it so that the docks hopefully can take Carden in right away. So let's build the docks here. There's a city street here. The game builds automatically. Let's delete that. And there's one over here. Let's delete that, and let's delete that. And we're just gonna build our own street here now. Our own city street. This one. That goes then all the way here. And then all the way in here. It's not the same actually. There you go. Oh, we can't really take that much. Nope, I need to make this more efficient. Sorry, pals. I will need to delete a bunch of buildings here. This one. There you go. With that, we get way more in, right? And get Carden in as a new food customer. That's important for this one. This one also needs a drop-off. That can be over here. A bit further away from the docks, actually. Not quite there, but still there. So with that, we have a new customer now that gets over here. And that is then Carden const 3. That we have, because we got already quite a few going here. That's that. And then I actually need the docks for North Allerton, our island city that we have. And look at that. It's, of course, it's a small island, so we have the space right away for the docks to take the construction materials in right away. And let's make it... we're gonna need a big dock for this, so... yeah, this works. With that, we have it over here. And we can also increase the size of this right away. Now I'm actually going to create the new ship route that is going to Orkney, to Cartharton, to North Allerton on its way back, right? So at least 2/3, a bit more, let's say 3/4 of the route will be full, hopefully. And that's our new ship line now. And it's going to be Orkney, Carterton, North Allerton. And still need that shipyard. Gonna make this here by the port actually. Looks a bit cleaner. If we had close by, let's make a ship. We do have theoretically a new one, the Vandal. Oh, that very good for fuel. And then we got the Klondike. This is a passenger transportation as well. That we can have. This is a pure passenger transportation now that we have. That's new, but this one's a bit faster. And it can carry more. And of course, important for us, food and construction materials that we have on this. And let's create the Klondike and get this one on the Orkney, Carterton, North Allerton ship route. One of them does not have the big docks yet. Of course, it was Carterton. And off it goes. A new type of ship for the 20th century. What a beauty. That's definitely a ship that I would board. And off it goes on this vast ocean that we have over here. Empty for, of course, 2 to 3 rounds at least. So this will be, once again, deeply unprofitable before things are starting to bring me in something. Of course, hopefully, we should be seeing some food now stacking here. And then I would also like to see some construction materials coming in here. And with that, the processing plant is leveling up now, thanks to having a new customer. This will lead to a higher demand in grain. And for that, we're probably gonna need the next grain field over there. It's a bit stupid here, right? So we got Orkney surrounding by grain farms. That's gonna hinder growth for sure. So what I could do instead is I could use this farm. It's further away, but that doesn't mean that it's unprofitable or anything like that, right? So we can still make this profitable. And we could lead these farms here to close at some point, because if those farms are not being used for a few decades, then they will just disappear. And this would lead to Orkney having more space. So I definitely don't want to tackle this one, because that's just too close to the city. And yeah, for that, we need to create a new route, basically, that is now transporting then the grain over there as well. So I'm gonna take this one, this road there. And we're just basically going to add... Here we have the tools factory. We're also going to get rid of that, right? So it's going to be cut off from anything. and it will just close at some point. We don't need a tools factory that close to Orkney. Here, I'm actually going to use a road that close because we don't want to have this road here interfering with this road here, of course. That would hinder traffic, as there is going to be quite a lot of vehicles going for these two routes. And lo and behold, Carterton receives now construction materials and food, and with that is also now nicely growing, with more buildings popping up everywhere here. And also construction materials waiting. They're being delivered then. Yes, 55 construction materials on board, getting here over to North Allerton, which then should grow. And there is 66 food already waiting again for the ship at this point. Very nice. This is also starting to work. And look at the view. Boy, I could really live in this town. Surrounded by water, having a great look at the mountains, and also thriving. We have, by the way, also enough money to pay back some of our loan. Alright, so we still have 7.5 million. We should not do too much, of course, because I still would like to have money to invest. But let's tone it down to 5 million on the loan now. This also reduces my interest and also increases then my income. Now I'm all in for risk, and I would like to create my next extremely profitable trade route, or at least I think it's going to be profitable, but it's going to go with a very high upfront cost. And that is, we have this nice fuel factory here with a lot of potential to grow, right? There's a lot of refined oil already coming in, and it is only being hindered right now by not enough transportation. So that's this area here, right? So my trucks, and I'm already working on that, just pushing up more trucks until we meet the rate so that we get enough fuel out. And this will level up. This will produce then even more fuel than before. However, we're also getting a bit into a bottleneck here now with the refined oil. There's only so much refined oil you can trade in one direction. So we need more refined oil for this one. At the other end, we do need more customers for the fuel. And I found them. I found them all the way down here. There's two cities that need fuel, and both of them are close together, and both of them have an oil refinery in the center that has a lot of oil wells in the surrounding area. This is just a great opportunity for us to make a very profitable trade route, a train route especially. And for this, we need space. We don't need this area here. We can cut it off, right? There's no downside to cutting this one off here to make this work. This is a country road that we cannot cut off because it's connecting the cities, right? If you cut this off, those cities will die because there's no traffic in between anymore. So this will be a huge penalty. But we don't need that. We don't need this one at all. What I need is a cargo terminus station here. A terminus, why? Because there is no way that this train is going anywhere else, right? So this is really the end of the map here, and this will be the end for this terminus. Wait a second. The end for this terminus. That's also a nice way of saying it. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and make this one somewhere here. So this will be a pretty... Oh, wait a second. Let's actually get rid of that again. Make it into a nice road that we have then over there. We don't need this road anyway to connect the oil well, because there's gonna be also some traffic here. And then we'll just see. Yeah, I can think about that. And you can already see one thing, and that's elevation. The problem is, all of this here, and this is gonna what makes this road so special then here, all of that is hilly area all the way. We're gonna need some tunnels for this, and that's gonna be expensive. Let's just build this one for now. Right, so let's actually make this one long. 320, yes. 320, because this will be a very long train. And let's make it so that it's somewhere over here. We could also make it here, right? Nah, I'd rather build it here. So this will go right away from everything here. All right, there you go. Now building the track for this will be risky, right? Because we gotta make sure that we're not building too many tunnels. This would explode us. I also want to make sure that we don't have enough elevation, because this would slow it down. Also, curvature is gonna play a vital role. As we can see, yeah, this is looking nice. Going into that area, and then we're gonna go over there, and then it's just gonna be one giant straight line now all the way here. And I'm gonna make sure that we never have too much. This is good. Where's actually my... There it is, right? So all the way there is Hamilton with my fuel refinery. This is where we want to go. And as straight as possible, because don't forget, this train is going to be long and it's going to be expensive. So we want to make sure that we have it as straight as possible. And I don't care about the upfront cost too much. Here, I think it's going to be tunnel area now. This is where the cost really will go up now. So as you can see, that's 2 million. It could be close to 8 million in cost for this. But we have 28 million right now. So we can afford it to make this work. There's the first tunnel already. Now there's going to be a huge hill here, right? And I want to make sure that we are on track for that. I'm not going to use this station that we already have, right? It would look clean, of course. You know what? Let's use the same station. It's just so much cleaner with that. However, we will need to get rid of these city roads there. So the city is already trying to grow towards this area. And what I will definitely need to do here is I will need to increase the length of this train station. And we do have the passenger, we do have the cargo, and there's my cargo one, right? And as you can see, this is already going to be tricky, especially towards this area. So we can grow towards that area just fine. There is a road here that we absolutely need because it's the road that's connecting the train station with us. So I would still want to make sure that we can grow a bit into this area. But I think that's going to be hard. Yeah, because here we got the tracks. So I'm going to wait for this train to pass, and then we're going to make this one here even longer. Because this train is also going longer. By the way, it's one of my most profitable train routes that we have. Oh, lines at all, with 1.8 million in profit right now. And full in both directions. Okay, it leaves again. Now we can make this one longer, right, with the tracks here. Then we got those tracks. Don't forget, the train can be longer than the station, right? That's okay. But the longer it is, the less efficient it gets with loading. So we need to make sure that we always have the train attached to platforms to get the maximum loading speed out of it. Okay, and here it comes in now. And I think, yeah, the speed is fine for this, 96. It's a cargo train. It's probably not going to be that much faster, right? So with that, we got this one rolling. However, it's the wrong track, right? Because this train here now needs to be on a second track that is over here. And luckily there was a patch at some point in the past that makes it possible to switch platforms now without losing all the storage, right? So there was a time when you wanted to switch the platform for a line, it would just all disappear and reset. And now it's just moving from platform 1 to platform 2 in an instant. And I like this quality of life feature. With that, we have now this platform here available for our MEGATRAIN, right? So this leaves then here. At some point, we need to make sure that the street here will probably go up or above or below the tracks, because that train will be very long. And yeah, the train will then leave here. And we will want to make sure that we get a nice speed out of that. 120. That's okay, right? As it is leaving now. Now comes the most difficult part, and that is having them touching each other. Touch and go in the center. So I'm gonna make sure this one is 500,000. Yeah, that's okay. 500,000. The problem is though, we still use the same old bridge layout, but yeah. This will be better at some point. 500,000, and then we continue now into a tunnel. Let's just make sure that, let's try and connect it right away. This would be 3.3 million. That sounds cheap. So it's going over there, and then here enters that hill, coming out on the other side. It's always max speed. So it's very important to put a lot of energy into building the tracks, because once you have the tracks, they're going to stay there forever, right? You're never going to change that again afterwards. So that looks fine to me, right? So we got the tunnels. It's cost-wise, it's actually cheaper than I thought, and we always maintain max speed. Going all the way over here. Now I've already set up the infrastructure over here for everything to work. Now we just need to create the lines, and line 1 will be now the massive one, right? So that will be from here all the way down to here. And we're going to call this the Hamilton Fuel Yorkshire route, because Yorkshire is close by. And here we just call everything Yorkshire, basically. So it's a different network now. Yorkshire Fuel 1. Right, and then we got another delivery here for the oil that we want to have. Yorkshire Fuel 2. And then we just have the deliveries now from here, from Yorkshire North to Amberville. That's the Yorkshire Fuel Amberville route. And then we have the Yorkshire to Yorkshire Fuel. It's just really funny that there is no fuel refinery in the whole area here, right? So wherever you look, there is not, even though you have a pretty high demand for fuel, nothing here. So this, of course, yeah, makes total sense to do. Also, I'm gonna grow these into mega factories. And for this, you need a lot of customers and a lot of input. Now comes the train. The train will be deeply red for us for a while. We're going to use the latest locomotive for this, the A35, with a top speed of 100 kilometers an hour and a power traction of 1000 kilowatts. So this is twice as much as than we had before. Yeah, 1900 is so the latest state of the art. The cool thing is you can actually use two of them together to increase its traction power to 2000, which would lead to an even longer train. That is something we're going to do later though. Let's get the tank cars rolling, and yeah, we're going to ramp up the capacity. Let's say 200 for now. No, actually let's say 150 for now, because I really don't want to exaggerate this too much, right? That's 10 million this train costs me. And this is now the Hamilton Fuel Yorkshire route. Alright, so this will probably be one of our longest ever trains that we're building in this game, this route, right? And we're just improving this over time, getting it longer, adding more locomotives to it, having fun with it. This will take some time now, right? Because first of all, the customer will need to be created out of this that we have now over here. So there's Amberville and Yorkshire is now coming up in the list here for this fuel refinery. But before the volume gets higher, this will take time, right? Also input. It will increase now the shipping. And yeah, this will definitely lead to a level up of this fuel refinery here. So this will be then the fuel. On the other hand, we do now need to make sure that we get the refined oil over. So this is the customer here that we have already. And this is where we need to get the refined oil now. And look, it's already 144. We just started this. So let's ramp it up. 16 vehicles on this short ride should make sense, as long as they're using all the platforms available to us. Now that's actually really beautiful here, as we're following the train over the slopes and the hills of Yorkshire area. And yeah, with that, we leave it at this episode. We can actually pay back all the loan that we had, the remaining 5 million. With that, we're debt-free officially, right? There's no more interest we need to pay. And we still have 23 million in our account. Of course, look at that. The loss of this train is over 1 million at this point. So right now, I'm waiting a bit for this to come back. We're just enjoying the view. And we come back in the next episode. And then definitely with passenger transportation, because we haven't even touched that topic yet at all. I hope you enjoyed this one, Transport Fever 2. The 20th century is upon us. Stay tuned.